I mean, you're more than welcome to. Okay. Well, Neil, you want to come up by me, and Ted, you want to come up here too? Okay. Have we got everybody okay, or do we need to kind of circle up?
You guys are, they're rolling at my place.
Yeah, I'm ready to go too.
We're waiting.
You waiting?
You guys are waiting.
Somebody's got to push the button, I guess.
Yeah.
Did that work?
That's right. That's all we can do out here. Is this your normal camera?
Hey, and thank y'all for doing this for us. Appreciate it. Really do.
While we're waiting, I'm gonna grab a shot of your badge.
We're up. We're up.
We're up. We're all ready. I think we're ready,
Mayor.
Mayor.
Yeah,
You ready?
Ready.
I'm Charles Murphy, the mayor of Robertsdale, and on behalf of the city of Robertsdale and actually all of Baldwin County, we want to convey our sincere condolences to the Jackson family with one of our police department personnel passing away, Mr. Maurice Jackson. The great thing about Maurice, he always had a smile on his face and a kind word for everyone, and he will certainly be missed. There are no words that we can express that can provide the total healing back to his family during this tragic loss, only to let Amanda and the kids know that we're here for them. In any way that we can help them, we certainly will. As I convey with this message today, since Maurice died of the virus, I would strongly suggest that anyone that has an opportunity to take the vaccination would certainly do so. We want to try to protect everyone, and again, we just want to bless the family and ask that God's hands wrap around them and comfort them through these difficult times. And I'm sure with us all pulling together that we can make it better for the family. God bless you.
Mayor, I don't know if you know this, and maybe one of the officers do. Can you tell us a little bit about Maurice, his history there at the police department, and how long he'd worked there, his family life, anything about him as a guy?
Debbie, we can't. Maurice has actually been with us a little over 4 years. He was in our jail department. I mean, Paul, would you like to say something on behalf of Maurice and the work and all?
Sure.
Okay.
Paul, if you don't mind, just state your name, please.
Sure.
Thanks.
Corporal Paul Overstreet. I'm an investigator with the Robertsdale Police Department. I did have the opportunity to work with Maurice for several years while I was in patrol. He was a great guy, very even keel. The job never got to him, and he stayed steadfast, and he was a fighter. It's unfortunate that it ended the way that it did. We're all mourning, and we're all grieving the loss of a great friend.
How long had he battled? Do you know if he had been vaccinated? Do you know any of that information?
What we can indicate to everyone with all of our police department personnel back at the first of this year, not only with them but also with our firefighters too, they were in the first round of the vaccination process. And then fortunately, about a month later, towards the latter part of March, we were able to pull the rest of the city employees in. So we've given everyone that works for the city of Robertsdale an opportunity to be vaccinated.
Was he vaccinated? Do we know yet?
I'm really not sure of his medical history. Okay.
Have you been able to talk to Amanda and personally and express your condolences?
Ted, you want to do that? Because
I'm Lieutenant Stone with the Robertsdale Police Department. We have spoke to her. They are working on arrangements for the family. It's very hard, especially with the age of the children that he does have. So we're giving them the space, but we're doing everything that we can for them. We went and saw them today. They have a lot of family support, as well as us, law enforcement, being family. So our support's going to be there for as long as she needs it, her and her family.
Ted, the impact, what kind of impact does this have on, because you guys have a small jail there. Obviously, he was a correctional officer. What is the impact on the jail now? Do you guys Is there protocols that are now have to be put in place now with the inmates and with the rest of the crew?
There's always been protocol, and, the cleaning and sanitizing has always been there. So it's our policy that the safety is the utmost importance inside the jail as well as inside the work environment. So everything is being done the way it's supposed to be.
Does anyone, do any inmates have to go get tested now? Was he around any of the inmates when?
As of this time, we don't have any inmates that are testing positive for this.
How long was he out on it? Maybe a personnel issue? How long, obviously when you start the symptoms, you have to mandatory leave for a few days. Was he gone for a week, or do we know?
I'm not, it probably would be less than, 2 weeks?
Let me just say this, on the city's behalf, we have followed the CDC guidelines with all the protocols. Last year, with the initial onset of the virus, we made some temporary changes in our personnel policies to where we're even more flexible with people being off because of the illness, because we didn't want any of our employees that were ill to actually come to work, because we felt like it was a greater catalyst for someone else to come down with it. We're still implementing those protocols now. We have someone that keeps up with it, that tracks all the employees when they go out, covers them on the quarantine period, and then also on the testing that has to be performed, and for them to get a negative certification before they come back to work. So we try to keep the facility, with all of our facilities, as safe as possible. Just to echo what Lieutenant Stone was talking about, what we have to consider really and truly for actually probably the last 15, 16 months, on our jail facility, it's been on a lower scale because of the virus. Through our court system, we've been more flexible in dealing with people, so there have been, the number of people that have been incarcerated has been way down. And so, unfortunately, in this situation, it kind of minimizes what we have to do in the after fact with it.
I know you said you guys have given pretty much all of your employees, from the police department to the fire department to people here in the city, the chance to get vaccinated. Do you have like maybe a ballpark percentage of employees that are vaccinated here?
Well, what I would say, what I could tell you is this: back last year, that we had 28 out of a pool of 90 that either tested positive for the virus or had the virus. Now we're going into the second round of this now. As far as any actual data released on cases and stuff, we're communicating that all through the state health department, and that would be the source for that type of information.
For people like,
Yes.
for the amount of people vaccinated
Right.
here? Okay.
Talk about the community and the outpouring of support, and I know that y'all have had people drop stuff off at the police department. What has that reaction been to this?
Well, it's been very welcoming for the family. This is certainly, it's a difficult time that any of us would have to face, but especially with Maurice being as young as he was, makes it a little bit more difficult. But we can all say that it's a difficult time when someone in your life passes. The positive reflection, if you've got people that come in around to try to comfort you, and especially strangers, because that's what's happened now. So that reflects well on the community and the fact of their givingness and sharing in this time of sorrow for the Jackson family.
Mary, does it feel different than last year of what you guys are experiencing? Obviously in the county, the cases are going back up. Does this feel any different than last year?
To me, it feels a little bit different in the fact that we're seeing younger people that are contracting the virus and having more difficult times with it. What really surprised me last year was I knew of about 5 people that passed away from it. And out of the 5, I would have considered 4 of them extremely healthy, possibly more healthy than I am. And now we're moving into this second round, and we're seeing even younger people come down with it. That's the reason I would stress you need to be vaccinated. You need to try to follow the CDC guidelines. You need to try to distance. And I think really and truly, until we get through with some of the veins that we're in right now with the vacation period and with people at the beach and the transit traffic, we're going to have some more of these issues. hopefully, if we can build up enough immunity to it, then this will basically go away. But like I said, I would just stress that everyone follow the direction of their physicians in the type of care that they need to take.
Someone said to me today, he said, we're getting the pandemic now. Do you feel like that?
Debbie, that's a good point, but I think at the first of the year, we were in that vein too. To me, it really started right after Thanksgiving, and probably the first part of January, it seemed to hit its peak, and then by the time we moved to the middle of February, things started to slow down some. I don't know how this cycle is going to run. I don't know if we've hit the top yet before it starts to cycle down. What is a little bit on the frightening side that I think we can all attest to is we move closer to the fall, we normally move closer to the flu season. So we would anticipate that we would have more activity then.
Lieutenant Stone, how many correctional officers do you guys have at Robertsdale?
If I'm not, can I answer it for you, Lieutenant?
Is it, I was just wondering.
No, actually on the correctional piece, if I'm not mistaken, I think we've got 7. And I think we have 7 or 8 dispatchers too. So normally on each shift, you have a dispatcher and a jailer that are present.
Yes, sir.
And as Lieutenant Stone indicated, we've got backup standard of operation procedures that we follow so that we can always maintain a full force. The only thing I would interject, though, with the police department, especially for the last 15 or 16 months, our scale of the jail has been down tremendously because of some of the health issue concerns. And I know with the court system, we've been extremely lenient with people, and the reason was we wanted to try to limit as much congregation as possible. Yes, sir. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Thank you. Hey, you did a great job. Thank you. Hey, Ted, thank you. You did wonderful. Didn't mean to interrupt you so much. No. Good seeing you.